Hey guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And for those of you that watch this video regularly, you're probably like, why is the kitchen light on? And Alex is standing in the background. So Alex, my husband, just got home. Can you say hi real quick?
Hello.
Hello. He just got home and he was feeding the dogs, and I am getting ready here in just a moment to go to my good Judy Tanya's, well, we go to our home group meeting, 12-step meeting on Tuesday nights, but she is getting her 24-year coin tonight, so I gotta go get ready in just a second, and I wanted to film a video over here, so I said, do you care if I film a video while you're moving around in the background? And he said, of course not. So we're just gonna do it real low key. We're gonna act like we're having a conversation, and Alex is in the background, and he can pipe in if he wants to, and he can say something, which I'm sure he probably won't, but he can if he wants. Okay, so today we're gonna read first from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations. The light is so weird because it's got the light on in the background, so it's like blue. I feel like the girl from, oh there, that didn't make it any better. What's going on? I feel like the girl from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, that's a little bit better. So anyway, my angles are better at least. Okay, February 4th. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. Character. People seem not to see that their opinion of the world is also a confession of their character. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The world isn't especially concerned with making us happy as much as we would like it to be. Most of us are well aware of this fact. So when we complain that things aren't going the way we would like them to, we only annoy those around us, while further darkening our own mood. The more we whine and criticize, the smaller and more unpleasant we become. Today, instead of complaining about negative things, I will praise positive things. You know, it's interesting because, as you know, like on this channel, I'm doing like a motivational, inspirational book every month. And last month, the extra credit book was The Secret. Well, for the last 2 months, but I finished it in January. I still need to do my review of The Secret and the Celestine Prophecy. And a big part of that book is talking about, you know, our attitude towards things. Is our attitude positive towards things? Is our attitude negative towards things? And, you know, I've talked on here a lot about how in the last couple years, I've really worked hard to be a more positive person, to look at the day and be like, oh, today's gonna be a great day and whatever. And if you watch my vlog, you know, every day I say in there that to do positive affirmations, and one of the things I say every day to myself is, today is going to be a great day. Some days are harder than others, you know? Some days it's like I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to do anything, and I'm just like, I'll even say that out loud. And, you know, and I've noticed recently since reading that book that I'm affirming the negative instead of affirming the positive, and that it's a lot about changing your language of how you speak to yourself. But I think also, like, we all have that one friend, and I think at times I have been this person that just whines and complains nonstop, and it's typically somebody that has a pretty good life, you know what I mean? And I think everybody is allowed a fair amount of complaint tickets in their life, so to speak. Did I just coin a phrase? Complaint tickets? But no, I think that we're all allowed to, you know, complain and, you know, I was gonna say, you know, the B word, but, and moan about our lives, and, you know, say to our good Judys, our good friends, you know, like, oh my God, today, like, my husband's driving me crazy, or, you know, it's just been a long day, or the weather, or whatever, right? But if that's the language that you speak with all the time, people aren't going to want to be around you, you know? And I think a lot about my mom. Like, I really sing the praises of my mom of being this very wise, kind, compassionate person, which she was. But she could also be intensely negative at times, and, you know, very critical. And it was hard to want to be around that, because if you're around her, you know, it's always about fixing this and fixing that. And, you know, she would always point out things about people, and it was difficult at times, you know? Speaking about character is interesting in talking about sobriety and emotional sobriety, which I talked about in my vlog at length last night. You know, character, I think, is something that I didn't really understand for a long time. You know, people would say to me, like, oh, so-and-so's a character, aren't they? Or, you know, like, they're a funny character. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this old-timey kind of word that we used in describing kind of eccentric people. What I know today is that character is a combination of your integrity, your values, your morals, who you are as a person. There used to be this thing that I would do is, like, when I walk in a room, and it's part of my social anxiety, but it was also part of my self-concept that I didn't really think that I was worth very much, is that when I would walk into a room of people, I would look down at the ground. My old sponsor used to say to me all the time, when you walk into a room, you hold your head up high because you are a person of character today. That was really hard for me to get behind. That was one of those affirmations I had to do, you know, for a long time because I didn't believe it, you know. And then years ago, I saw the movie, The Contender, because I often felt like if I stick to something and I really believe it, that other people don't want to hear, it's uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying, like that. And it's like, okay, this is going to get real deep here real quick. We just went boom. You know, my friend and I, last night, my good Judy Tanya and I, we drive around and we solve the world's problems. And we were talking about how people really like us until we have an opinion about something that doesn't align with theirs. And this is in my personal life. This isn't anything to do with YouTube, right? But like you can say like, oh yeah, blah, 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 if you're always that lighthearted person, but as soon as you have an opinion and you go, you know what, like I have an issue with this, like I have a problem with that, then everybody thinks you're a bitch, right? Like, and then it's like, oh, then no, like, oh, they're not a very nice person anymore and whatever. So, and it's almost kind of like this tactic that I think people use subconsciously and don't even realize of saying, I don't really want to know what you think, right? Like, I don't really want to hear what you say. Well, interestingly enough, years ago I saw this movie called The Contender. I love this movie so much. And I'm not going to get into what it was about, just trust me. Go Google it or look it up. But it's about this woman and she is up for a position of the Supreme Court Justice. And this alleged stuff comes out about when she was in college. She will not address it. She will not say whether or not it's true or not, right? And you kind of want her to in the movie, but you want to know why she won't at the same time. So through the whole movie, you don't know if it's true or if it's not true. And at the very end of the movie, I'm going to ruin it for you. So if you want to see the movie, you can still see it. You know what's so funny? Do you ever watch old movies? Okay, so I went into my friend Tanya's house last night because I was helping her carry some groceries in and stuff from the Meijer. And in the background, her husband had gone to bed and like the TV was on and it was Jagged Edge with Glenn Close. Oh my God, I started watching. I sat down there and I watched like 25 minutes of it. I was like, oh my God, I forgot. It was all the courtroom parts. I was like, I forgot what a fantastic movie this was. I was like this. I was like, Tanya, what happened? Tanya, what happens? And she was like, don't you remember this movie? I was like, no. She's like, oh, she falls in love with him and then it comes out that he had an affair and then I'm like, and then it happened and I was like, oh my God. So I love old movies. But in The Contender, I can't think of what her name is. Her name, the actress is, I was going to Google it, but the actress's name is Anne something. He says to her, you knew all along it wasn't true. And she said, right. And he goes, why did you not answer them or address them? And she said, and I love this, right? She said it was never theirs to ask in the first place. And that line is so powerful. When people think they have a right to ask you something personal about your life that is only yours and yours alone to answer or to address, that was the first thing that she said. And then the second thing she says in there, and this is one of my favorite quotes of like, she's the actress, so whoever wrote this line deserves an Oscar, okay? But she says in the movie, principles only mean something if you stick to them when they're inconvenient. So if you being a bitch means that you're gonna lose a friendship or that you're gonna stick to your morals or your values or your integrity, that's what makes up your character. That's who you are. And at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, that's really all we have is our character, right? Like the life that we've lived. You can't take it with you. You really can't, okay? I have sat over somebody that passed away. She wasn't taking bags and purses and all that kind of stuff. She wasn't even probably taking a whole lot of memories with her, in all honesty. But who she was and who she had lived her life to be over the course of time was what represented her life at the end. And I think we don't talk enough about that. You know, we really don't. We talk about how to succeed, how to meet our goals, how to be a millionaire before we're 40. We don't talk about, I mean, how many books are there out there about like how to develop great character? You know what I mean? Like there just aren't. And that wasn't something that until my sponsor, who at the time was probably 68 and lived a pretty small life, you know, and was one of the wisest men he still is one of the wisest men I've ever met in my life, looked at me and said, you hold your head up high, you're a person of character today, right? Like I didn't even really understand what character was until then. We don't educate people on that. I think it's one of the most valuable resources that we can have is to be a person of character today. So, I also want to read, let's read one more meditation because I got to start getting ready here in a second. Let's read, let me look at which one. Forgiving and Moving On. Let's see what the meditation's about today. If it just jumps right out at me, we're going to do that one. Inner Strength. Okay, let's see, and then let's see what Nightlight is about by Amy Dean. You know I love this book so much. Okay. Well, let's read this one. February 4th. I don't really know what it's about because it doesn't say. There's just a quote at the top. "You silly thing," said Fritz, my eldest son, sharply. "Don't you know that we must not settle what God is to do for us? We must have patience and wait his time." Johann R. Weiss. Or Wiss, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's W-Y-S-S. "The story of the shipwrecked Robinson family is a lesson in patience. It was years before their rescue. They didn't know what their fate would be on the unfamiliar island, yet they survived every day by working together and keeping strong faith in a power greater than themselves. We are certainly far from the adversities faced by that family, but at times we may feel our lives would be better if our higher power would do what we wanted. How many times have we prayed as hard as we could for something we felt we needed? Today might have been one of those days where we felt our prayers weren't answered, but we need to remember our prayers are heard. Now it is up to us to let go and let God work his will in his own time. Have I tried to be in control of my higher power today? How can I let go and let God tonight?" You know, this is interesting because I was just talking to my sponsor about this yesterday. I think, like, you know, and this is not a channel where you have to believe in a higher power to watch these videos and have anything resonate with you. But I think it does help on some level. But you can believe in the universe. You can believe in whatever. You know, when I first got sober, it was recommended to me to have a God box. And what a God box is basically a shoebox or anything else. And whatever you're having a hard time letting go of, you write down and you put in the God box and you let it go. I'm not sure that a box or anything else really helps that. I was talking to my sponsor about, like, you know, just like the idea of letting go. Like, I don't, to this day, 25 years sober, I still struggle with that practice. I don't know how you do that, you know, and you don't ask, like, I mean, I've been told you don't ask your higher power to take something away or let it go like 100 times, but I'm like, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Like, are you hearing me?" You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that, but I think that, you know, it's about trust and it's about, you know, taking a leap of faith. And I think all of us have to do that. You know, there is this recovery saying, I said this on here not too long ago, that fear and faith cannot exist in the same place. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think it's what level of faith do you have that fear exists in the same place. I think my faith is questionable at times that I have fear. You know, it has been proven to me over time that things that happen in my life happen for a reason. And you know, I'm a big believer that, like Maya Angelou says, when you're going through one of the biggest tragedies in your life, look up and say thank you, because you're about to learn a valuable lesson. But that doesn't make life easy. That doesn't mean that life is going to be easy. That means that we rely on that. You know, you rely on whatever your belief system is, whether you believe in the universe or whether you believe in the wind or music or the power of art or journaling or a higher power, whatever that is. You rely on that in those moments. So it's really about us. Letting go and letting, you know, God or whatever is really about us practicing our reliance on those things in the tough times. So I guess the question is, when you're going through something hard, do you lean on those things that were given to you or that you believe in, or do you not? So interesting thought, something to think about tonight. That's probably the topic I bring up at the meeting. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below about the meditations. I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.